League, which is a nonpartisan group, is now estimating that because of this latest data, again, 9.1% inflation rate, that the cost of living increase for next year for Social Security beneficiaries would be 10.5%. If so, that would be a record high. What that means in practice is that the average check would go up by about $175 a month to a monthly amount of $1,668. But there are some wild cards to this. First of all, keep in mind that the Social Security Administration uses third quarter data.
Folks, there's a new update for Social Security. The federal government has released millions of data, and it shows that millions of people are at risk of missing out on stimulus payments. So lawmakers are concerned about the future of Social Security and what it holds for the monthly benefit checks. So the abrupt halt to almost all in-person operations at the Social Security Administration is during the crisis. It was debilitating for the most vulnerable Americans, undermining President Biden's pledge to ensure equitable government services. The Government Accountability Office released a report with its 1,200 field offices closed for 2 years. Millions of disabled and poor elderly people could not help applying for Social Security benefits. Many of them, there was no online option. The lack of access caused disability claims to plummet, and claimants who did apply confront still lingering delays in getting their cases renewed. So now the agencies continue to struggle 7 months after reopening its field offices to the public. It prompted auditors to conclude that it may continue to face challenges. But now, folks, let's get into the most important news. The report has found that Social Security, a last lifeline for millions of Americans, is still struggling to restore basic customer services and assisting millions of people, fewer of the poor, elderly, and disabled people who are seeking out help before the crisis. Lawmakers include Representative John Larson and Danny Davis. They're proposing a new bill to give people $2,000 stimulus checks. Since the start of the year, consumers have been forced to spend more on everything from housing, transportation, to even groceries. And of those large limited resources, a monthly check from Social Security has been a real strain on people. The good news about rampant inflation is that it's fueling Social Security's cost of living adjustment in decades. In 2023, Social Security benefits will rise again to 8.7%. And that's a major increase, just compared to 2022 COLAs of 5.9%. Folks, the average monthly Social Security benefit right now is actually $2,000. But once a year, next year COLAs take effect, the average benefit is expected to rise again to $2,500. Just as importantly, everybody, the cost of Medicare isn't rising for the first time in years. In fact, it's going down. Seniors who have enrolled in Medicare and Social Security should get to keep that raise. The average monthly Social Security benefit right now is $1,600, but once next year's COLA takes effect, the average benefit is expected to rise again to $2,000. So the next Social Security disability insurance payment is scheduled to go out this week again, making it a total of 3 November checks that have been dispersed. According to CNBC, the average disability benefit will increase by $120 to $1,500 in 2023 and $1,400 in 2022. And now Joe Biden will celebrate his 80th birthday on Sunday, marking the first time the president has reached that milestone while in office. So, Biden, who is the oldest person to assume the presidency, has said he intends to make another White House bid, even as he is 82 and a half years old. Joe Biden said last week, "My intention is that I'll run again. I think everybody wants me to run, but we're going to have discussions about it." Biden is the oldest person as our president. So, what do you think about President Biden, folks? Tell me in the comments. We have a lot of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSDI, and SSDI. Here's the most important news that I want you guys to know. The New Jersey Department of Treasury announced today that the ITIN holders and funded with the American Rescue Plan funds in the state budget are designed to help people who didn't receive cash benefits from their stimulus fund. So this relief is targeted to undocumented people and people experiencing homelessness. For instance, you do not need to apply. The state will send a check to your address or even your bank account. And it's important to remember that in order to receive a check, a person must have filed a New Jersey income tax return in 2021. Just be sure to get the check. Just be sure to get the stimulus check, everybody.
Unanimous consent to have an additional 10 minutes.
Without objection.
Thank you. Mr. President, we are soon to be voting on the situation with the rail industry, which is an enormously important issue, not only for the 125,000 rail workers involved, but for the entire country, because rail plays an enormous role in transporting very, very basic and important goods that all of us depend upon. It becomes a health issue and et cetera, et cetera. But I want to take a half a moment to put this rail issue into a broader context and then get back to the rail situation. And that is what polls are telling us and what I think each and every member of the Senate sees and hears from his or her constituents is people in this country are increasingly disgusted with the kind of selfishness and corporate greed that we are seeing. Now, we don't talk about it much in the media.
Now, the IRS has also confirmed, folks, that many Americans will be receiving a new $1,400 extra stimulus check this year. In this video, I'll be going over the brand new requirements to claim a fourth stimulus check very soon. So, the IRS just said in an official statement that the IRS announced that the agency has issued all third stimulus checks to people. But new parents and other eligible Americans who added dependents in 2021 may also qualify for additional money. This means more stimulus money will be going out. The payments of up to $1,400 a person were authorized by the American Rescue Plan Act, and that's a crisis relief bill that Democrats passed in March. Some $1,400 checks may still be in the mail, but the IRS is no longer issuing funds from the first, second, or even third rounds. According to the IRS, the agency issued more than 175 million third-round payments, all to households worth over $400 billion through December 31st. The EIP payments also were issued by the IRS, and that was for $1,200 and $600. Now, families who added a dependent, like a parent, nephew, niece, or grandchild, on their 2021 tax return, and who was not listed as a dependent on their 2020 return, may also qualify for this. The IRS said that other people may be eligible to receive a full third-round payment, and they might not qualify for more. But families can recover additional stimulus money on their tax return by claiming the 2021 Recovery Rebate Credit. This is due to the fact that stimulus checks are technically an advance payment of the Recovery Rebate Credit. The tax season started Monday and runs through April 18th for most people. To claim the 2021 Recovery Rebate Credit, individuals must know how much money they received in total for the third payments. It is important to remember, friends, that this information is available through your online IRS account or via letter 6475, which the agency is mailing to those who received third-round payments. But despite all the financial assistance that has been sent out so far, millions of people still remain in financial distress, and the recent surge of the crisis is just creating new economic headwinds. According to new data from a census survey that polled people during the first 2 weeks of December, more than 1/4 of Americans struggled to pay their household expenses in the previous week. So it's really sad to see that so many people are still struggling due to this crisis. That is why I believe that Congress should pass another stimulus package soon. The unemployment rate stands at an astounding